Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Talking Shit with your boy, Sophisticated Jerk. And today, man, I wanted to cover this clip, man. I seen it floating around with, YouTube debater Andrew Wilson. And he was debating, I think, this feminist lady. And I got to just say it right here, man. This is the worst case of bitchassness I ever seen in my life. Because Andrew, he's always kind of preaching stoicism, masculinity, and the girl was looking way more masculine than he was on this debate because she kind of kept her composure. She said something about his wife. Well, she kind of just asked a question and he kind of flew off the hinges on this. So it was a bad look for Andrew and shit. And this is why, man, y'all got to be careful, man, who you listening to, because, when people take that high moral or self-righteous ground and their shit stinks, background ain't looking too great, it's just like, man, they get upset about the shit that they created, which, it shouldn't be bothering you like that. It's like, if you make that decision, you shouldn't be seeing, if somebody asks you a question about that, you shouldn't take it as negative. So if you're taking it as negative, man, that means that you kind of understand that that's a bad look. So it's like, why didn't you have that insight before you made that selection? If you're this like intelligent person and you have all your shit together, it's like, you probably should have avoided that then if you having that type of reaction. So let me go ahead and put this clip up real quick and y'all see what I'm talking about. This was some soft shit. But all right, let me go ahead and play it.
Raise this. I'm going to reframe. And I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I will never be able to convince you of my worldview.
You won't.
I know. But the reason is not because I'm not a great orator or I don't make good points or I haven't said things which should be compelling to a person. But Charlie, I just think honestly, you're too fucking stupid to understand them.
So let me pause right there. So see, man, he kind of threw that first shot, calling her stupid and stuff. And watch how she's just kind of poised, man, even though he threw that shit. So this is what I'm saying, man. Like, if you're having a conversation with nobody, this shit ain't needed, man. You don't need to go to the name calling and stuff. And if you're calling somebody, you're saying that they're not that smart, man, you kind of open yourself up if you got a bad background. Because the first thing I'm going to ask you, I'm like, man, if you were so damn intelligent, man, why you align yourself with kind of somebody that had a bad background, man? That's not favorable to most people. So it's just like, man, this is why a lot of times people think they're smart. And this is why I always tell people, man, be wise, man, because not only the smart, it should align with your actions. So that's why, man, I made sure I had no bad past. I avoided certain situations because I never want to have to explain whoever I attach myself to why they made bad decisions. And what I mean by that is just like, well, let me get to the point and you'll see, and I'll get back. I'll stop.
So, Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you
you
lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What does that
You're a
mean?
fucking dyke. Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
And you like I said, you see how she was kind of like just calm. She let him throw her. She's like, okay, check, watch. You want to go there, call me dumb? Hey, let me break you down. And she ain't wig out. But you see how he took that statement as negative, like you're talking shit about my wife. No, she's addressing the reality. So it's just like, for example, say, man, if I was I got married to somebody and they had like multiple baby daddies and marriages, whatever. Because some people say she wasn't married or if she was married. But you're talking about like the seriousness of marriage. People should be able to question my past. So if I got with my wife and she had that background, you know what I'm saying? Once I make that commitment to her, I shouldn't be looking at it as negative. But I wouldn't be coming out to everybody because he'd be on that whatever show, like the 3 or 4s on them talking about what they doing wrong and stuff. And it's just like, man, you got a sketched past. So you shouldn't be coming out there on taking those tough stances when y'all got that thing, because now people should be able to ask you like, well, why did you accept that? If you're saying all this the seriousness of marriage, and homegirl got multiple marriages before she met you, two baby daddies, then shit, who the fuck are you to be talking? So she's right. And for you to take that as negative, it's just like she hit you at that core, man, where you had to respond like that, which is some sucker shit, because that's your reality. You tell females they're delusional all the time, like, oh, y'all delusional, you're emotional. Well, that's what the fuck you are right now. Because it's like, man, she's just asking you about your reality. You could have addressed it. I would have been like, hey, man, look, me and my wife both had baggage coming into that situation. So we both weren't perfect. But, the reason why we come out here, we don't want people to travel down the same path that we took. So that's why we do what we do. But see, since he took that self-righteous stance, and people don't disclose this information up front because, they want to look self-righteous. They want to make themselves seem like they're better than everybody. They jump out here, dog everybody else out. But now when the facts come out, that's when they get upset about it. So which shows that they was full of shit. Because like I said, if you would have done it the right way, man, you would have came out there and like had more humble conversations and not talked all that shit. But then had the conversations with people and been like, hey, man, me and my wife, man, we both was married before, we both had some baggage, man. But you know what? We fixed ourselves aligned with each other. We just want to make sure people don't go down the same path because, hey, there might not be a lot of people that like these people that have baggage. So that'd be totally different. So like if she would have asked him and he would have disclosed that stuff up like that in the beginning when he jumping on these podcasts and not talking so much shit and, trying to be super self-righteous, time she would have asked this question, he should have been, would have been an easy reply. Like, yeah, nah, she does. And you know what? I have some shit going on too, but we aligned and, now we put our family together, but still there's a better method that we have. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. And you want to look masculine with that response, but nah, he's attacking back and he's looking like a straight up sucker right now. And the people that follow people like this, that's why I got to question y'all. Because it's like, man, if you're following emotional ass men, and you can't spot that they are fraudulent, man, that says something about y'all too, man. And that's why people got a sheep mentality all the time. But just to even go to who you align with, and that's why I always tell guys, I'm like, man, who you align with is an important choice. Because I got a couple friends that kind of was going down this similar path. And I'm like, dude, like, if that female has like multiple baby daddies, if people ask you about that, would you be ashamed of that? Would you be embarrassed? And most people would. But like a lot of times people operate off of desire. So even with Andrew, it seemed like, they're not going to tell the truth, but it's just like, that might have been the hottest chick that was around. They might have lacked the options. So that's why they got with that person. They would never tell you the truth about that. But that what tends to happen with those type of guys. They're not thinking about their future selves and what happens when that information comes out. And that's why he's embarrassed, because he probably didn't think that shit out when he got with her in the beginning. Like, damn, this is a bad look, man. What happened to people who like question me? Am I built for that? Because I couldn't do it. I got too much pride. So I couldn't get with a chick that had multiple baby daddies. So like with me and my wife, we been with her over 20 years. We got one kid with each other. We ain't got no prior kids. And I wouldn't mess with it, because if somebody asked me that question, I would be embarrassed. And vice versa. There's women out here that would be embarrassed by a guy that had multiple baby mamas and stuff. So you got to be frank with yourself. That's how you got to lay it out. If you get with somebody, you might think they're attractive. Y'all might have a good time, but you better make sure that their baggage ain't going to come back to haunt you in the future. So that's what it's doing to Andrew. And this is what happens to a lot of guys that just, like I said, operate off emotions and their desires. They just latch on to something, and then, he done leveled up. He's a big YouTube debater. So now those decisions that he made, who he latched on to, that's what's coming back to haunt him. So that's why as a guy, man, I was doing a review on Kevin Leary. He was like, man, one of your biggest investments are biggest decisions that you ever going to make in your life is the person you attach yourself to, your spouse, significant other. And this is why you got to make sure that you're just not operating, like I said, off emotions and desires, because that person is going to be a reflection of you. So that's what's playing out right now. and she's just addressing his reality, but he's upset about it. So it's like, why would you be that upset if it didn't affect you that much what people are saying about her background? You should just be able to respond to that quickly. And it just shows like he's an emotional guy because, like I said, emotional guys make those type of decisions. So he put on a good show for y'all, but he getting exposed by this female that he's like going in on. And even if you feel like a female is disrespecting you, I'm not sitting there saying you gotta eat shit. But man, you could be witty and stuff without losing your cool, man. Because I'm not gonna. Somebody was asking me because I do a lot of panels and stuff on other shows, and they were like, "Man, I never seen you like cuss anybody out." I was like, "Man, why would I like flip out on people on a panel, man? It's online. I know who I am to the core, man. I know the achievements and stuff, how I built myself. Where if somebody throws a stupid shot, I'm just gonna, I could say some funny stuff back, and I can even make fun of myself, man, because I just got that much confidence in myself where I'm not gonna wig out on that. So I think, man, guys think matching energy with a female, that's just the weakest shit to me. Cause it's just like, man, you could just be like, hey man, we don't need to go back and forth, on taking low blows and stuff. So that's why you don't even set the tone like that. So when he threw that first shot, it's like, man, you can't sit there and bitch up when she claps back at you and be like, whoa, why are you talking about my wife? Well, why'd you throw that shot first? And that's that whole like, when I see people talk about freedom of speech, I'm like, okay, nah, I agree with freedom of speech, but man, there's freedom of response too. So when somebody gives you some smoke back, man, don't sit there and be like a little bitch and then start whining and crying and shit and go over the top. Cause you didn't have to throw that first shot. You could have kept shit cordial. Y'all could have went back and forth on your points. So like, this is just some real hoe shit to me. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, man. This is soft as fuck looking at this.
Your wife with the 3 baby
What did I
daddies?
just say?
Your
Dyke?
wife with the 3
Sorry,
baby
I'm sorry,
daddies?
Dyke. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Do the men that you try to
Do the women that you try
show
to
your hatred against?
the women
they,
that you try
convince
to
them that they shouldn't?
Charlie,
pursue
did I bring
women? Do they know
Charlie?
that
Did
your
I bring
wife
your
is 5
family?
years older?
Did I bring any of your
You
family
called me
into
fucking
anything?
stupid.
Did I
You
say
called
anything
me
about
fucking
your
stupid.
family being stupid, Charlie?
could.
It's
You could
because
go
I'm
for it.
better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed, and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on
Okay.
are bullshit because
Let's
you
go
are not
through
a
it.
traditional man.
Chuck, let's go through it.
You are not a traditional
Let's
man.
go through it, Chuck. Tell me what I'm doing, which to rephrase.
And she's got a solid point, man, because like, I was one of the few guys, man, me and my wife, 50-50. And I was like, man, I want a chick that invests in the household that works, with me. Fuck that traditional shit. And all these dudes came out here, oh, I'm traditional, I'm this. And then, man, when you start looking at their backgrounds, it's like, that shit ain't traditional. Like, man, I'd had to tell everybody, like, traditional back in the day, man, they was literally like, they would get married young. Motherfuckers ain't have all this like bodies on us, men or women. So it's just like, man, none of this shit is traditional. So he's not traditional, man. Like no guys back in the day would have took just being honest, man. And this ain't a shot to him because it's like, man, at the end of the day, what you select is what you select. But we just got to be honest, man. Like people with multiple baby daddies, baby mamas, that's nobody wants to really deal with that. That's a stigma in most communities. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing traditional about that because back in tradition, if you want to dissect it properly, because if you're like claiming you're a smart person, them guys wouldn't even went with a female that was already latched on to somebody like that been married before. Them dudes would have shunned that. So yeah, she probably would have never got married again. And that's just man, you got to be honest with this stuff. So it's like, man, none of us operating in this society with the new divorce courts and all that. This shit is modern as fuck. And I get everybody wants to latch themselves onto the past, but it's just like modern ain't really a bad word. It just turned bad on YouTube. But modern just means, you advanced to a certain degree. Like you took some good practices and you changed. So you could look at it as a positive. But they, like she said, it's like, man, y'all want to sell this like traditional bullshit, but you far from it. So she's like, yeah, I got my issues, but hell, my shit ain't looking as bad as y'all's either. So nah, she's spot on. And that's why it's striking him to the core. Cause it's almost like she's ripping that Band-Aid off his lifestyle. So that's why, man, if you're going to come out here with that, morality stuff, man, you better lead by example and make sure your background don't stink. And if it does, you got some errors, not to say, because people make mistakes, man. Hell, Me and my wife, like I said, we was married over 20 years, man. We could get a divorce and stuff, so shit could happen. But it's just like, man, that's why you got to pitch yourself like a little humble. And or if you are talking shit, you better make sure like you hold that standard. Cause I see so many people, they'll talk shit at people and then like they'll go holler at a 2-time baby mom. So that, nah, something's wrong with you. Like I said, if you aligned yourself with that, that means you lacked options. You were struggling out there in that dating market where you saw that as a favorable situation. Cause like I said, the only people that should be aligning with that was a dude that got like 2 baby mamas. You got 2 baby daddies. That's y'all market right there. That's who should be aligning with that. But if you ain't got that type of baggage, you should be looking past it. And I don't give a fuck if people get mad at this, whatever. It's just like, man, you could catch me in because I ain't put myself in that situation. So like I said, I got 1 kid with my wife. She got 1 kid with me. I'm not messing with nobody with multiple baby daddies if me and her got a divorce because it's not equally yoked to me. I ain't create that type of mess. Shit, I got cut after being my wife, so I'm not gonna have no more kids out of that. I talked about that before, so yeah, nah, that ain't no sense of traditional. So yeah, he gotta give that whole lane up, and she's right to call that out because his whole position is like, oh, modern this, and you like the epitome of modern. Looking at your background, because I know like he had all that shit going. Because I reviewed some of his clips. Gave him props. I was like, man, nah, what he's saying is a fact. So you could go look at my stuff. So I ain't biased, but man, if you got a background like this, man, you ain't traditional. You knock that shit off. But I got one more clip because I think his wife called in to the show and started getting at the female. So let me pull that up. But yeah, I don't know who's following this guy. Y'all need to goddamn go find somebody else. And I ain't looking for no following either. So I think sometimes everybody claps. That's why I tell people, man, you need to find somebody in your general area. Like if you want some mentorship that you could see their outcomes in life. So man, stop trying to align with people, all these little camps that people have online and groups that they follow. It's like, man, follow somebody in real life that got actually good results that you could see in real time, man. And that's because you don't want to be following people that's like faking out here, man. And that's why people ask me like, hey, man, can I get some? No, man, go find somebody that you could actually have those face-to-face conversations. Because I ain't here to like try to rip people off. I'm not trying to pitch myself to something. I just have conversations online. Take it if you can. Listen to other people. Learn from everybody, man. And you could create like a hybrid situation. So I think a lot of time people want these like cult following. I don't want that shit. That's weird to me, man. Like, nah, follow multiple people, man. That's why I always shout different people out. I'm like, man, this person says some good stuff. I big people up, but when people are fraudulent, I'm gonna come at them too. And that's what we seen in this case, man. This dude falling apart. So if you following an emotional man, you're emotional your damn self. And that's why you probably have bad results in life because if you a sheep and you following that type of somebody with that stature, yeah, you lost to begin with.
Daddies and has been married twice before.
Don't talk about my wife. You shut your fucking mouth.
Rachel, are you there? Can you hear us? Rachel?
But again, see, like, how can you be mad at the reality that you put yourself into? So that would be, like I said, it'd be like if my wife had that same background and I chose her. I'm not going to be like coming out here and be like, why are you talking shit about my wife if that's the reality? You know what I'm saying? So like you're going on all these panels calling these chicks delusional and emotional when they don't want to like give you the accurate response, and you're doing the same thing. Like I said, you should have had that response like, hey man, we both do have baggage, but you know, we got back on track by doing this and stuff, and we want to prevent people from going down the same path. That's all you had to say, and you could have moved past that and tacked some other points, but you fell apart.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Did you not have agency when you accepted this debate with Andrew?
Yeah, I did.
Then what did he do wrong? You do not sound like a person with a college education. And since you lost and you got humiliated, you thought the thing to do would be attack me. And where did you get the idea that I'm promiscuous? I've spent my entire adult life only in 3 long-term committed relationships, one of which is almost 20-year relationship with Andrew. Now we're like 18 years in.
I did wonder, hang on, Rachel, I did wonder one thing. Tell me if
And I'm going to stop right there because his wife was wrong. Your husband started throwing some shots too. You know what I'm saying? I ain't watched the whole thing. But even then, it's like, man, you called the girl stupid and she got back at you. So it's like, man, you're like, where you have the agency and all this. Well, he should have held himself to that standard, and he could have just replied back to her, because he didn't have to take, your background as like negative. He could have been like, hey, I chose her. It don't bother me. So I don't know why y'all fixated on it. We both had baggage. That would have been an easy response right there. So it's just like, man, for you to even call in and have to get at the female, that even undercuts his masculinity even more. Cause it's like, if I was on here, I'd be like, don't even let her get on there. I got this. Like, would she fight for you too? Like, y'all get in a bar fight, was she gonna go put you in a car, go box for you? So yeah, man, this shit look bad, man. Yeah, I'm done with this whole clip. So yeah, y'all gotta be careful, man, who you align yourself with. Man, make sure you understand. Like I said, man, do somebody in close proximity to you, man, that you understand who they are, like you actually know their outcomes. And it's cool listening to people online, because some of this stuff is entertainment. But it's like, man, all these like little groups, everybody's following and shit. It's just like, man, it's all right. It's good to support people, man. But make sure, man, you listening to multiple people, man, so you don't get locked into like, oh, I'm in this group only and I only listen to this. Because, nah, man, there's wisdom in multiple places. So that's why I always tell people, man, like, hey, this ain't no cult over here. You want to support, but go check out other people, man. I reference other people. And that's where you got to look at people that operate like that, because those are the ones that want you to actually win, because they ain't trying to like just keep you in their like lane so they could like juice you for all your money and shit, and I see so many of these dudes that's like that, and they ain't the most masculine people, man. So, but all right, y'all, man, I've been ranting enough. Peace.